Shabbat Shalom. Before we begin our service, I want to remind you that if you have brought with you into the sanctuary any kind of device that makes noise, like a cell phone or a beeper, do people even still have beepers? I don't know. But anything that might make a sound, a notification, please turn it to the off or silent position at this time. Also, as long as our phones are away, a reminder that we do not take photographs during the service. Esther will be very happy to take a photograph with you after the service for a small fee. But during the service, we do not take any photos. And a reminder that we do not clap or cheer or applaud so as not to disturb the sanctity of the service. We are all so excited for Esther, but we'll tell them Mazel Tov. We won't applaud. And lastly, this is a Siddur, or a holy prayer book. So we ask you to treat it with tremendous respect and do not place it on the floor. If you have to have your hands free for whatever reason, please put it on the chair next to you or ask the person next to you to please hold it. Also, those Eitz Chaim commentaries, the large maroon books found underneath the seat in front of you, is also a holy book to us, and so we treat that with respect as well. Now, when you walked into the sanctuary this morning, you were handed some candy. If you've already eaten it, this does not apply to you. But it is a custom after certain happy occasions to toss candy, and I will let you know when that time is supposed to happen. I'm going to ask you that you not throw the candy. It is not to be thrown like a projectile, because that could actually hurt somebody. We don't do that. It is an underhand toss of congratulations. It is not a projectile throw to try to inflict harm. So be very gentle, because we need our eyes and all the important things. Okay, now that we're done with all of those announcements, we come to our time of Shabbat, a holy time of rest, of joy, and of peace. And it is my pleasure to invite to the bima at this time, on the occasion of their bat mitzvah, Esther Cynamon-Murphy, together with her parents.
Oh, shoot. My delight in learning that I had birthed a mini-me has been surpassed by my elation at how gloriously you have become yourself. Emotionally fluent, self-aware, and conscious of how your power affects others, and funny, so often inconveniently funny. I am so proud of you, and pleased that spending time with you is fun, even when it's not. My blessing for you today is that you will continue on as you have begun this journey on the derech, as a kind, clever, and brave B'nai Mitzvah, wrestling with God who loves you and allowing God's covenant and your Jewish community to guide your choices. I am so proud of you. Wait, this isn't the signal to go.
Esther, I wrote this as I watched you and your orchestra mates rehearse before the Eczema State Contest. When you were born and I first held you, I knew you were special, but I did not know you yet. Not everyone here knows this, but you arrived on Father's Day 13 years ago as the best possible Father's Day gift I could ever receive. As I watched you rehearse, I got a glimpse of the amazing person you are. Over the past 3 years, you jumped into orchestra, then symphony, and then chamber ensemble with aplomb. Is that a wordly wise word?
No.
I have seen you practice and perform countless times, and it brings me so much joy to see you doing something you love. If you were just a musical person, Dayenu, it would have been sufficient. But you are so much more. The care and curiosity you show for animals, both living, like the ducklings in the sewer, and after they have passed, stands out. I never thought I would enthusiastically pick up roadkill so that my child could examine and preserve its skeleton. Nor that we would, at the moment of writing this, have a menagerie including a guinea pig, a cat, 3 hens, and 6 growing chicks. On this day of your Mitzvah, I acknowledge with pride all of the hard work you put into getting to this day. You regularly demonstrate your commitment to Judaism, whether it's staying up late into the night like the sages of old at JYG Lock-ins, or enjoying summers with campmates at Azrui, or simply helping to pull together everything for Shabbat and Passover services at home. I love you and could not be more proud of you. Mazel tov. No hug yet.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitiatef batzitzit.
Oh, no?
Something fall?
Nope, I think we're good.
Oh.
Nope.
What do I do next? I don't know.
We continue now with Elu Devarim on page 88.
Elu devarim she'ein lahem shi'ur, she'adam ochel perotehem ba'olam hazeh, v'hakeren kayemet lo le'olam haba, v'elu hein, kibud av v'em, ugemilut chasadim, v'hashkamat beit hamidrash, shacharit v'arvit, v'hachnasat orchin, uvikur cholim, v'hachnasat kala, uvayat hamet, v'iyun tefillah. V'hava'at shalom bein adam lahavero. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam.
We continue now with Ma Tovu on page 74.
Mishkanot
continue now with our call to worship the Baruch Hu on page 108. Please rise.
La 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 la
Please be seated. We continue now with Yotzer Or on page 110.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvorei choshech, Oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha berachamim, Uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid maaseh v'reishit, Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, Kulam bechokhma asita mal'a haaretz kinyanecha. Tarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha ve'al me'orei or she'asita yifarucha selah. Or chadash al tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh kulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. We now turn to page 113. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light-blinded we saw, that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life. Baruch atah Adonai, Habocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava.
We continue now with the Shema on page 114. Please rise.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol namshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam livanecha, vidibarta bam, vishivecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, ushochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leo tal yadecha, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם. We now turn to page 123. The good in us will win over all the wickedness, over all the wrongs we have done. We will look back at the pages of written history and be amazed, and then we will laugh and sing, and the good that is in us, children in their cradles, will have won. Our hearts beat with certainty that there is a day and an hour and a mountain called Zion, and that all of the sufferings will gather there and become song, ringing out into every corner of the earth, from end to end, and the nations will hear it. And like the caravans in the desert, we will all go to that morning throng.
We continue now with Micha Mocha on page 122.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot oseh peleh, Norah tehilot oseh peleh, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, shir ha'chadashah לשמך שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו, והמלכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
We now turn to page 124.
And we continue with our congregational tefillah. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibur, V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher hastei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibur le'olam Adonai, mechayei metim atarav lechoshia, morid hatal. Mechalkel chayim v'chesed, Mechaye meitim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofeh cholim. Umatir asuri. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Nichamocha ba'al gevurot umido melech. Melech meimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'emanata l'chachayot meitim. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh ha-meitim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam keshem shemakdishim oto bishmei maro kakatu al neviyecha v'karav zel zeh ve'amar Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, Kevodo, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yam Shmienu, v'rachamav leinei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elochai Yetzion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagid golecha, Ul netzach netzachin kedusha hanakdish v'shivachacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated as we continue singing Yismechu on page 132.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. Shabbat Yismechu b'malachutach Shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei Oneg Shabbat Yismechu b'malachutach Shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei Oneg Shabbat.
We continue on page 137.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha le'ovod.
We continue now singing our prayer for peace, Sim Shalom, on page 140, followed by a few moments of silent prayer.
shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed verachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha. Barchenu avinu kulanu kechad, be'or panecha. Ki be'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed verachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
We come now to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. It is my pleasure to invite to the bima at this time Rebecca and Jacob Cynamon-Murphy, Cheryl Murphy, Michael and Wendy Cynamon. We continue on page 244.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן. אדוני יברך את עמו לשלום, לשלום, לשלום.
This is the Torah that God gave to Moses. Moses passed it to Joshua, from Joshua to the prophets, from the prophets to the sages, from one generation of our people to the next. And when I place this Torah in Esther's arms today, they forge a new link in this chain of tradition. We continue on page 247.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shmo.
Gadlu la'Adonai iti, unromama shemo yachdav. Exalt Adonai with me. Let us extol God's name together.
Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Haolam, Haolam, Omer. HaTorah ve'al-Avodah ve'al-Gemilut Chasadim. HaTorah ve'al-Avodah ve'al-Gemilut Chasadim. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Ki
be seated. The Torah portion that Esther is going to be reading this week is the same portion that we read all over the world in Jewish communities, Parshat Naso. And it continues where last week's portion left off, which delineated the responsibilities and the tasks of 3 Levite families, the Gershon and the Merari, and this week the Kahat family, counting all of the Levites who were of age to serve in the Mishkan. When God commands Moses to purify the camp so that it will be a worthy home for the divine presence. And this teaches us that God can enter any space, whether it's physical or spiritual, anywhere that we let God in, God can dwell. Then, Esther's going to touch a little bit about this. There is something called a sotah, which is a wife who is suspected by her husband to have committed adultery. And it talks a little bit about the process of how she is to drink some bitter waters, which will lead to one of 2 results. Either she will be proven innocent or proven guilty. The rabbis have a field day with all of these different things according to the sotah. But then the Torah describes the laws of the Nazarite, the person who has voluntarily accepted upon himself to adopt a special state of holiness where he doesn't get his hair cut and he doesn't touch anything fermented with grape products. So, and also he can't be amongst a corpse. The famous Nazarite in Tanakh is Samson. So there you go, a little connection with Esther's Torah portion. But Esther will be reading from the priestly blessing, the 3-fold priestly benediction that is conferred upon most B'nai Mitzvah students, and of course at weddings and even at baby naming. So this is a very meaty Torah portion that Esther is going to be reading from, and we are so thrilled that they are going to share it with us. Before we call up our first reader, I do want to make a comment that this first reader, this is the first time that she is getting to bless the Torah. So in some ways, it's kind of a bat mitzvah for her as well. So we don't want to make too big of a fuss over it, because really this day is all about Esther. But for Nancy, this is kind of a big deal too, so we just want to kind of shout out and go, Yasher Koach, Nancy, but no pressure or anything. And then we go back to our regularly scheduled script. Okay. Ta'amod Nessa bat Menachem Mendel Halevi Le'aliyah HaTorah Ya'amod Shmuel ben Shimon Le'aliyah HaTorah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chabanu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el Aharon ve'el banav lemor, ko tavarhu et bnei Yisrael, amor lahem, yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, ya'er Adonai panav elecha, v'chunecha, yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom. V'samu et shemi al b'nei Yisrael, ve'ani avarchem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat hamet, v'chayei olam nata b'tkenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Yasher Koach. All right, come around the side. In my zeal to say Mazel Tov to Nancy, I forgot to tell you the page number, which gives Esther a little time to warm up without you, scrutinizing what they're doing. So, if you want to follow along in the Torah reading, you may do so in the Etz Chaim commentaries, the large maroon books found underneath your, in front of the seat in front of you, or if you're in the front row, underneath your seat. Esther will be reading from page 804. I think they're past that now, but that's where they started. So, you may follow along with us. Ta'amod Eliza Chana bat Naomi Mordechai Hirsch Halevi la'aliyah haTorah. Ya'amod Yehoshua ben Iser v'Rivka la'aliyah haTorah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayhi biyom kalot Moshe lehakim et hamishkan. Vayimshach oto, vayikadesh oto, vet kol kelav, vet hamizbeach, vet kol kelav, vayimshachem, vayikadesh otam. Vayakrivu nisiyei Yisrael, rashei beit avotam. Hem nisiyei hamatot, hem haomdim al hapkudim. Vayaviu et korbanam lifnei Adonai, sheish sheklot sav, u'shnei asar bakar agala, al shnei hanesiim v'shor le'echad, vayakrivu otam lifnei hamishkan.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach.
Oh, thank you.
Yasher Koach. Ya'amod Mordechai Hirsch ben Menachem Mendel Halevi la'aliyah haTorah. Ta'amod Naomi bat Naphtali la'aliyah haTorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, kach me'itam v'hayu la'avod et avodat ochel moed v'natata otam el halvim ish kefi avodato vayikach Moshe et hagalot ve'et habakar vayitein otam el halvim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam nata betochenu.
Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Come sit right here. Ya'amod Yaakov Ari ben Naomi u'Mordechai Hirsch Halevi la'aliyah haTorah. Ta'amod Rivka Devora bat Gordon v'Cheryl la'aliyah haTorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Shetei hagalot, ve'et arba'at habakar, natan livnei Gershon, kipi avodatam. Ve'et arba hagalot, ve'et shmonat habakar, natan livnei Merari, kipi avodatam, biyad Itamar, bin Aharon hakohen, v'livnei kechat lo natan, ki avodat hakodesh alehem, ba'kateif yisau.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayam lanata b'torchenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Sit down. You guys come stand here. At this time in our worship service, our thoughts turn to those of our community and family who are ill and in need of healing. We think this morning of Rabbi Bruce Goldwasser, Rabbi Fred Wanger, Leonard Schultzman, Frederick Bryan, Scott Stewart, Sonia Maria Reimar Miller, David Menikoff, Carol Pretnar, Paul Alterman, John Eulenberg, Susan Donahue, Malka Turner, Ed Notaris, Micah Unger, David Kaiser, and all who suffer whom we know not by name. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, ve'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, hu yivarech v'rapeh et kol cholei Yisrael, vayishlach lahem bimheira, refuah shlema, refuah tanefesh, refuah taguf, v'nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all who are stricken. May the Holy One of Praise mercifully restore them to health and to vigor. May God grant them health of body, health of spirit, and of mind. And let us say, Amen. Ta'amod, 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 Esther, Elana, Beit, Rivka, Devora, V'Yakov, Ari, Habachura, Habat Mitzvah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayakrivu hanseim et korbanam lifnei hamizbeach. Wait, no. Vayakrivu hanseim et chanukat hamizbeach beyom himashach oto. Vayakrivu hanseim et korbanam lifnei hamizbeach. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Nasi echad layom, Nasi echad layom, Yakrivu et korbanam, lechanukat hamizbeach, Vayehi hamakriv, beyom harishon et korbano, Nachshon ben Aminatav lemate Yehuda. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ya'amod Baruch Tzvi ben Naomi u'Mordechai Hirsch Halevi Hagba. Ya'amod Yehoshua David ben Naomi u'Mordechai Hirsch Halevi Galila. Will the congregation please rise?
V'zot haTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Please be seated. The original purpose of the public reading of Haftarot was to connect the sacred text with important Jewish values in order to keep those texts relevant for the reader. The message of the biblical prophets is that the stakes are high for how we act in the world. That message still holds true today. Doing mitzvot are the ways that we connect with God, with the best parts of ourselves, and with one another. We recognize that the Haftarot that are connected with each Torah portion are not always easily understood and do not always hold relevance to the lives of our B'nai Mitzvah students. For this reason, we have chosen to link the prophetic texts with the Jewish values that are listed in the prayer Elu Devarim, a prayer that Esther led earlier this morning and which lists the important mitzvot that we should seek to fulfill. Esther has chosen the value of Ahavat Shalom Bein Adam L'Chavero, making peace among people. This is an important mitzvah that reminds us to forge peaceful relationships, both as individuals and as nations. The text that Esther will read from is from the book of 1 Kings, and this story depicts how King Solomon navigated the disagreement between two mothers who were fighting over a single child. With the mother's inability to overcome disagreement as to who should raise the child, Solomon proposed the solution to split the baby in two. Knowing that the mothers would not choose to actually split the baby in two, King Solomon used this opportunity to make peace between two people, keeping in mind that making peace doesn't mean that everyone is happy, but that everyone comes to a peaceful agreement. You can follow along with Esther's Haftarah reading in the Haftarah handout that you received when you came in this morning.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayomer hamelech kichu licha harev, vayaviu harev lifnei hamelech. Vayomer hamelech gizru et hayeled hachai lishna chaim, utnu et hachatzi le'echat, ve'et hachatzi le'echat. Vatomer hayisha asher banahai el hamelech, ki nichmeru rachamecha el banah. Vatomer bi Adoni tenulach et hayalut hachai v'hamet al temituhu v'zot omeret gam li gam lecha lo yehiye gezoru. Vayan hamelech vayomer tenulach et hayalut hachai v'chamet lo temituhu hi imo. Vayishme'u kol Yisrael et hamishpat asher shafat hamelech vayiru mipnei hamelech ki ra'u ki chochmat Elohim b'kirbo la'asot mishpat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadarot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber kayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al haTorah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al hanvi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnucha, lechavod ultifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu bodim lach, umbarchim otach, yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol hai, tamid le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mechadesh haShabbat.
We continue with the prayer for America, which can be found in our Sidurim, in our prayer book on the bottom of page 258. It is my pleasure to invite to the Bima Claire Marmion and Helen Schneider. Page 258 at the bottom of the page.
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and to untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free and break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, banish the menacing hand, banish the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light will shine in darkness.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen.
The prayer for the state of Israel is not found in our Siddur, but rather it was written by a colleague, Rabbi Hannah Ellenson, and so we invite forward Lynn Haber to lead us in this original and special blessing for the state of Israel.
Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessing for the state of Israel and for all Israel's inhabitants. Mukor Chaim, source of life, bless and strengthen those who defend the land and ensure their safe and speedy return home. Protect and guide them. Kadosh Baruch Hu, holy and blessed one, show Israel's leaders your path so they may act with wisdom, courage, and dedication, and that they may be unwavering in the pursuit of peace. Strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening. Matir Asurim, freer of the captive, return all those who are kidnapped safe and sound to their homes without the spilling of more innocent blood, without any more souls being tarnished by horrific acts. Baal HaRachamim, Master of Compassion, help us to hold the humanity and the heartache of the Jewish people while also holding the humanity and the dignity of the Palestinian people. As we are made in your image, remind us of your ways. Spread over us the shelter of peace and fulfill the vision of your prophets. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation, neither shall they shall never again know war.
Our service continues as we rise and turn to page 256 to return the Torah to the Ark.
Yahalalu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Let us praise the name of Adonai, for God's name alone is exalted. When Torah entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person. That is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization. Honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace, these are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to them all, because it leads to them all. Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do.
Eitz chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomechecha meushar dirachecha darchenoam v'chol netivotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekeden.
Please be seated. In a moment, Esther is going to give their wonderful drash, their wonderful speech, and after which, I will give you the signal for when it's time to gently, underhand, toss the candy. And then I'll give you the signal where no more candy can be tossed. So if you still have the candy in your possession when I give the signal, you get to eat it. So you can get your candy ready. But first, Esther is going to give their drash, and then I will give the signal.
The name of my Torah portion is Naso. To sum it up, the Israelites are in the Sinai desert, and God speaks to Moses. God instructs him to count the various tribesmen that are traveling the desert with him. The men between the ages of 30 and 50 are given special tasks to transport parts of the tabernacle. God also tells Moses of a ritual that proves or disproves if a suspected woman has or has not committed adultery. Furthermore, there is an explanation of what a Nazirite is and what they do. For example, a Nazirite may not consume any grape products, including wine, raisins, or anything that has come into contact with any grape products. They must also not cut their hair. They cannot be contaminated by coming into contact with or even looking at a dead body. Another fun thing Nassau has to offer is the priestly blessing. I'm sure most of you have heard of this blessing before. It's said at a baby's naming service, at a bar or bat mitzvah, and at weddings. The most important part of this blessing is the fact that it is said at important milestones in someone's life to wish them well for times to come. Nassau ends off with listing the 12 days in which 12 tribesmen offer 12 offerings that are pretty much the same. One of the most powerful ideas that I found very prominent in Nassau is the abundance of offerings. There are so many offerings, and not just for one specific reason. There are burnt offerings, offerings of forgiveness from sin, meal offerings, peace offerings, and many more. What I really want us to think about is whether the offerings that are required of the different tribes are fair. In Nassau, the 12 tribes of Israel must give a number of livestock and goods. Each tribe has a different number of people, so one tribe's needs might differ from another. While one might be able to spare 5 rams, another might not. While one tribe has an abundance of goats, another might have fewer goats but more oxen. My point is that fairness does not tend to be a priority in the Torah and the various holy books. When traveling the desert, I think that food is very important. Now, I don't know where the animal goes after it has been offered, but I don't think the community would get the majority of the food back. This could be devastating for a smaller tribe when they need every little bit they have. I know this whole notion of offerings doesn't really feel up to date anymore. It's not like we sacrifice livestock regularly, and thank goodness for that. So, let me modernize this idea for you. I have decided to interpret some present-day Jewish equivalents to sacrifices. One example would be an offering of time. One of the holy values in Elu Devarim is arriving early for study morning and evening. We as Jews value time as much as family, friends, or anything else. I know that I hate to be late, but I still can't even count the times that I have been tardy for something because I have lost track of time or put more time into something else. What I'm saying is that every time we go somewhere that we enjoy, like the synagogue, concerts, recitals, or just social gatherings, we offer our time to ourselves and to the people we are with. I, for example, spend a lot of time, or plan to spend a lot of time, volunteering with my family. I have fun helping an organization while also spending time bonding with my siblings. Throughout the bat mitzvah preparation process, I learned many things about myself and about the work that goes into setting the foundation for a confident presentation. Some include, but are not limited to, the fact that time management is very difficult. Often more effort must be set aside for practice, and becoming a bat mitzvah is a real commitment. From the hardships I faced, like deadlines for writing or practice, I found that there are many benefits to becoming a bat mitzvah. One of these benefits is that I can now be considered an adult, in a sense. Even though I technically am not an adult by government standards, I still take part in many of the religious responsibilities in this community. Even though I cannot vote in an election, I can now be part of a kosher minyan. I can't drive a car yet, but I can still help the younger children in this congregation get ready for their b'nai mitzvah. One of the ways that I plan on continuing to develop my Jewish identity is that I will be continuing through confirmation class. I will be in a class with my fellow 8th graders, and we will discuss our culture and some historical events that have to do with it. I will also be going to Azrui. I've already gone for 3 years, and I'm planning on going this year. I've spent about 16 weeks at camp, not to mention the weekends I've spent there on congregational retreats. And I'm going for another 4 weeks this summer. The value from Elu Devarim that I chose is making peace among people. I chose this value because I don't enjoy conflict, and I like to help avoid it. I also think that helping someone with struggles would help to make their well-being more peaceful. Unlike many of the mitzvah projects that you probably have heard of, my project is not just one thing. In fact, mine is a jumble of 3 mini projects. First, I made no-sew blankets for Project Linus that are donated to children in need. I made them both at home and with the junior youth group. The second and third things that I did were pretty similar, but supporting different organizations. I volunteered at a meeting of Feed My Starving Children, where I helped to clean up after the previous volunteers who packed food. I also volunteered at the Northern Illinois Food Bank, where I helped separate and bag sweet potatoes. I plan to continue to volunteer with many other charities while also donating to various fundraisers. There are a lot of different approaches to doing a mitzvah project, and I'm proud that mine was less conventional. It gave me the opportunity to learn about and support many different organizations, and I had a lot of fun volunteering and helping my community. On this very special day, I have lots of people that I would like to thank. First, I'd like to thank everyone here today for supporting me in my quest to become a Jewish adult. I want to thank Rabbi Koznowski for answering all of my random questions, and Rabbi Weiner for working with me to write my speech. I wish to thank Miss Marla Aviva Bentley for essentially being my Jewish encyclopedia and teaching me about my culture. Thank you to Cindy Michelasi for today's wonderful music. I would like to give a huge thank you to Mrs. Wood for teaching me all the Torah that I know. Your love of teaching was excellent, and you inspired many lives with it, and we will miss you. Friends from camp, synagogue, or anywhere else, thank you for having my back whenever I needed it. Thank you to my aunts and uncles for encouraging me to do my best. I wish to thank my cousins for being my buddies, even if we don't see each other very often. I wish to thank my grandparents for helping me with my religious goals. Thank you to my siblings, for Judith and Akiva for being supportive and getting me to take brain breaks from time to time. Judith, thank you for your very important insight on how I could improve. Akiva, thank you for playing video games with me to help get my mind off stressing about arrangements and planning. Finally, I want to thank my mom and dad for always being there and reminding me to practice. Thank you to my mom for being supportive of my dreams, and thank you to my dad for prompting me to practice and prepare for this wonderful service. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. You may throw your candy. And anyone who would like to come and partake in the collection of candy may do so at this time.
Jeez, people are taking you. I only got 4. I only got 2.
Hold on. Oh,
No.
my skirt candy. You want another one? Oh, okay.
All right, candy collection has ended. All young ones, go back to your seats. It's my time to speak with Esther. Esther, Rabbi Weiner, Marla, and I got together about 30 seconds ago, and we decided to take you into the back and ordain you as a rabbi. What a wonderful, wonderful service you have led for us, Esther. You've taught us so beautifully. And I just want to come clean with something. I pointed Esther on her last Aliyah to the wrong spot. And she was like, oh, Rabbi. And she went to the right spot. Well done, kid. We put the Torah in Esther's arms today to show that you truly are an adult in the eyes of the Jewish people, and we surely can trust you because you have taken up the mantle of leading us in worship and really showing us what hard work and dedication can do. You brought us all together here for this wonderful occasion, and after losing Mrs. Wood just a few weeks ago, it was very painful for our congregation, but for you to bring this joy to us helps to heal us, and it brings us peace. So thank you for being you and for continuing by doing your ceremony, because this is truly healing for all of us. But most important, the kindness and compassion that you show, even to little kids who might not have gotten enough candy, and you opened up your hand to give them more. You can't teach that, guys. That's just menshi. What can I say? And you, Esther, demonstrate that your neshama, your soul, is truly good. On behalf of Rabbi Weiner and Marla and I, we are so proud not only of how much you've accomplished, but the wonderful person you are, and we can't wait to see all the wonderful things you're going to do in your future. I'm going to take Esther to the ark for a blessing. I'm going to ask the congregation to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Yiverechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'ir Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God be kind and gracious unto you. May God's countenance be lifted up unto you and grant you the most precious gift of peace. We say together, Amen. Please be seated.
So Esther, we tell you that you have to come up here to get some presents and certificates, right? So you are officially done, but you have to get these certificates, and we have a few of them in here. The first of which proves, in case reading Torah, being here, having all these people, having a recording, in case that isn't enough proof, you get a certificate, which afterwards you get to sign, right? So that you can say, I became bat mitzvah. And then you also have certificates to help you travel to Israel. Now, have you been to Israel before? Okay, so these certificates will help you enough that when you go to the Shuk in Jerusalem, that's the open air market, there's a place called Marzipan. If you've been to Jerusalem, you know about Marzipan, because they sell the most amazing rugelach. It's amazing because it's underbaked. And everybody in your family and your friends who have been to Jerusalem are gonna ask you to bring back a suitcase of rugelach. This certificate will be enough to cover that suitcase of rugelach. You also get, on behalf of the Brotherhood and Sisterhood, a set of High Holiday Machzorim, a set of High Holiday prayer books, so that when you come to High Holidays this year, you will have your own set of prayer books to bring with you. Mazel tov to you, Jacob, Rebecca, Judith, Akiva, and all of your friends and family on this day of you becoming B'nai Mitzvah. Mazel tov. You can go sit down. We are going to begin to conclude our service, and it is my pleasure now to invite up Judith and Akiva Cynamon-Murphy and Eli Cinnamon to the bima to help us open our ark doors as we turn to page 282 for Aleinu, please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who have died at this season and in years past. And on this Shabbat, we remember Morris Rogoff, father of Libby Bider, grandfather of Marla Aviva Bentley, Mathilde Berger, Rose Chafik, Nathan Stoller, Harry Marks, Henry Rothenberg, Edna Schmitz, Richard Sefman, Joseph Hanan, Nathan Roddersman, Florence Kirschbaum, Suzanne Spenadel, Edith Unger, Ferdinand Fishman, father of Sherry Kaiser, Lee Bernstein, Emmanuel Jacobson, Joanne Soyring, Abdul Razik, Ruth Basin, Alice Studman, Marty Himes, Helen Pearson, Jenny Berg, Elaine Merkovitz, Heath Bradley Stoller, and we mourn the recent passing of Jeffrey Paul Samuels, brother of Stephen Samuels, Jerry David, father of Kara Kapp, Rachel Wood, wife of David Wood, mother of Laurel Shaw, Stacy Hyman and Anna Jess, grandmother of Mira, Ariana, Sasha, Chloe, Lily, Archer, and Micah, Jeff Zemer, friend of Lisa Stack, and Ruth Notaris, aunt of Mark Notaris, great aunt of Kara and Jesse Notaris. To those names, we add the names of anybody else who you might be thinking of this morning, whether you're observing Shiva or Shloshim or a Yartzeit, and I invite you to share their names aloud as my eyes go around the room. Zichronam Livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. We join now together on page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam U'almei Almayam Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yithalal Shmei D'Kudashah Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Ta'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen Yehi Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen.
V'imru, amen. V'imru, amen. Amen. V'imru. Amen.
Please be seated. Our concluding song this morning is Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, the words of which can be found on page 353.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam Odavo Shalom Aleinu, Odavo Shalom Aleinu, Odavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Odavo Shalom Aleinu, Odavo Shalom Aleinu, Odavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam.
It is my pleasure to invite up to the bima Esther, Rebecca, Jacob, Judith, Akiva, and all of Esther's 7th grade classmates from Etz Chaim to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avon. May each of us know the joy of celebrating as somebody becomes a B'nai Mitzvah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. From here, this ends our service. You can come and join us for afterwards for pizza right next door in the social hall.